Hello, everyone. Nassau County Executive Laura Curran. I am joined by the Chief Fire Marshal for Nassau County, Scott Tusa, and the Deputy Chief, Assistant Chief, Mike Utaro. And also with us is Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder. So we just wanted to give you an update on the two fires in Nassau County. So the Jamaica ash fire in Westbury started at 8:48 last night. It was at 11 o'clock considered under control. I got a briefing at the scene from Chief Kenneth Gass of the Westbury Fire Department. There are still concerns about hot spots inside where the fire was. It was a large garbage waste transfer station that had a lot of garbage in it, and concerned about possible hot spots, so they're going to stay on scene, obviously. There were 68 fire departments that helped out there, a huge, massive operation. A lot of them were called away, by the way, before I get to that. 68 fire departments, and actually some came from Suffolk County as well. So a huge thanks to the cooperation among our fire departments. They do always a fantastic job. Some of them were called away to report and fight a fire, a house fire in Garden City that broke out at 5:38 a.m. this morning. That took 12 fire departments to get under control. And we're sad to report we can confirm 3 fatalities at that house fire in Garden City. We have Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder with us here because at the Westbury scene, as you can imagine, it was a huge building with a lot of trucks coming in and out, so we needed traffic management. We needed the police on hand in case we needed to evacuate around the waste transfer station. The good news was we did not have to evacuate. The homes were far enough away. So with more details on this, I'm going to give it to Mike Utaro, the Assistant Chief Fire Marshal, who was on the scene at both places all night. So he has not slept. Want to thank, just also want to mention, both of these fires are under investigation. So fire investigators between the police and the Fire Marshal's office are going to do their best to get to the bottom. But, it could be the case that with the Jamaica ash fire, we might not find out because it was such a large fire with so much stuff in there. I know that the investigators, the fire marshals, the police will do their best to find out. So to fill in the gaps and give you more details, I'm going to turn it over to Mike Utaro.
Thank you very much. The Westbury Fire, as the county executive mentioned, the first 911 call came in about 8:48 p.m. The Westbury Fire Department responded under the command of Chief Kenneth Gass. They were assisted because we had to continually move crews around and give them breaks. It's a continuing operation. To this moment, it is still burning and smoldering, and they're working on hot spots and overhauling the site. Site was approximately 1,000 by 600 feet, so it's quite a large site that they were working on. There was a time that the main line of the railroad was shut down. I believe there's limited service, but you can check with the MTA on that. We did have about 68 fire departments that have cycled in and out of that fire, along with some Suffolk County fire departments who assisted as well. And as the county executive said, there were no injuries at that fire, thankfully, to any firefighters or civilians, and the cause remains under investigation, and it will be for some time. The tragic fire this morning in Garden City broke out about 5:38 in the morning. There was a 911 call again for a reported house fire with people trapped. Garden City police officers arrived first on scene, tried to make entry. One officer was transported to a local hospital for evaluation. We understand he's doing okay from the Garden City Police Department. The Garden City Fire Department, under the command of Chief Moody, had 12 departments assist them. Some of those departments, as the county executive had stated, came from the Westbury Fire to assist over there. They did get on scene very quickly. Unfortunately, the house was fully involved on arrival with heavy fire and smoke conditions. Unfortunately, as reported, there are 3 confirmed fatalities at that fire in Garden City. The cause remains under investigation. It's an active scene being worked on with both fire marshal investigators and investigators from the Nassau County Police Arson Bomb Squad who are working together to try to get the cause. Again, it was a tragic fire. It's a good reminder to all of us, make sure your smoke detectors are operating at home. If you have a problem or you're unable to access smoke detectors, contact your local fire department. Here in Nassau, you can contact the local fire marshal's office, and we can assist you with trying to make sure your home is safe. Other than that, there were no other injuries except for 3 firefighters who were treated at the scene, refused medical attention, and That was basically for that fire. And again, it's just a tragic reminder of, safety in our own homes. That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We just want to say collectively that our hearts go out to the families of those affected who died in this fire. This is a very difficult day for people in Garden City, and our hearts really do go out to them. Happy to take any questions that you might have.
On the Westbury Fire, is there any concerns about the air quality?
You want to address that?
We did have a hazardous materials team on scene from the county fire marshal's office. They were doing air monitoring throughout that fire. Outside of the tremendous smoke condition that was drifting across the neighborhoods, it's in a relatively industrial area, but there are residential homes to the east and the south of the site. But there was no need for evacuations. Nobody was displaced from their homes, and the air was deemed safe. There wasn't anything toxic. There wasn't anything, more importantly, dangerous in the air that would have necessitated an evacuation.
And in Westbury also, did the buildings really collapse, or was there a fear it would collapse and possibly fall onto the Long Island Railroad?
The building it's more of an open lot, but it's covered with areas of building. It's hard to explain. There was areas of collapse, but most of it was metal and steel and concrete construction. There was a concern about some debris landing on the railroad tracks, and there was also fire operations from the south end of the property, from an adjacent street on the other side of the railroad tracks. They were working to fight the fire from that area. So they had numerous tower ladders set up, so the railroad shut the line down. They also shut the electrical transmission lines down as flames reached 40 to 50 feet in the air and were endangering the overhead wires.
And on the Garden City fire, you mentioned smoke detectors. Is there evidence that they did not have smoke detectors in that building?
No, that is still under investigation right now with the investigators on the scene. That'll be released at a later time when they complete their investigation. But as always, anytime there's a tragic fire, especially a loss of life with 3 individuals, it's a great time to remind people to make sure your smoke detectors work in your home. And if you don't have them, seek them out. And there are all places you can get them if you cannot afford them or do not have the resources.
You said that 3 people were trapped in the house. Were they trying to get out?
Again, unknown. The fire investigators there are working the scene, trying to investigate that. Again, that's still an ongoing operation and an ongoing investigation.
Where were they found in the home?
The same thing. It's still a very active scene. They're combing over the home, and then there should be some more details available perhaps later in the day or tomorrow when proper notifications have been made and they start to wrap up their investigation.
The type of structure that the house was, is there anything about it? Is it an older home? Is there, what do they call it, like a hollow, the pop-up construction? Is there anything about the house that may contribute to such a
No, it was your typical single-family suburban home found in Garden City. A stone facade, wood construction, but there was nothing remarkable. There was no truss construction. There was no open cockloft that caused the fire spread, except, again, the fire was advanced. The 911 call was made by a passerby, and the fire had a big head start before the fire department and police department arrived on scene.
Any evidence there might have been some kind of oxygen tank or anything in the house that might have exploded or added to the fire?
Nothing at the moment, but again, they're still investigating all aspects of it. They're still interviewing people, and there'll be more details hopefully later in the day or early tomorrow.
And just lastly, you touched on it a little bit, but because there were so many firefighters in Westbury, was there any kind of a delay getting to Garden City?
No, actually, it was more of an enhanced response. There was a unit from a mutual aid department that was in the Westbury area that was rerouted to that scene, so they were already on the road and they got there relatively quickly. So they joined with the Garden City Fire Department, who had just gotten back from the fire in Westbury. They immediately went to work, and their arrival time was rapid.